right, and welcome to Fastbreak Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, and I'm here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone, and with Dave DeFore. Dave, how you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Did you get the breaking news?
No. I mean, is this the breaking news that you just got super excited about?
No, this is not Gigi Jackson assigned to Memphis Hustle practice. This is Jimmy Butler has announced he will not join the Memphis Grizzlies.
Whoa,
Chris Haynes just released this. He got a text.
Was it a Haynes brief?
It was, I think so. HaynesBrief.com.
Love that. I love that. They got to get the sponsorship. We got to do this for Chris.
They need to. Jimmy Butler would like to inform teams that he has no interest in being acquired by the Memphis Grizzlies. It just seems rude. It seems rude, man.
Sorry, I just snorted over that. Where do I even find this?
It's on social media. It's I don't know. I just got an alert. It's Chris Haynes tweeting
It was a Haynes brief.
There you go.
Live from the man cave, by the way. So good.
Well, this is. I don't know.
This is how you're supposed to be doing sports.
By the way, I heard people talking about Chris Haynes's man cave. So this is everyone knows Chris Haynes, I guess, the NBA reporter. Is he still with T? I don't know. Bleacher used to be.
I have no idea.
I don't know where anybody's with anymore.
Yeah.
But somebody's like, "Hey, did you see his man cave?" And I'm like, "Do we have to call it a man cave?" But it turns out there's a neon sign in the background that says man cave.
It's amazing.
I laughed and laughed. I was like, "Wow, that's really." I don't know. I mean, mine is a stunted man-child cave.
Mine is a shrine to myself.
Mine's just all toys in the background. Yours is. I just realized one of my toys is gone. There's a gap. Dave, there's a gap. You see this gap right here? This is for the YouTube audience. That's one of my larger Lego sets. I realized my son has taken it, and I think he's taking it apart so he can build it.
Wow.
I just doing the show, and now look over. There's this huge hole over here.
I got a picture of Seth's kids here.
Oh, yeah. You have, have this Basketball 100 by the Times/Athletics/People.
Great book.
Stocking stuffer right there.
Great book. Yeah.
Anyways, Chris Haynes from his man cave lets us know that Jimmy Butler's agent or somebody has texted him, letting him know. It sounded like I took it as I would like everyone to know.
A few teams, not just Memphis. It says a few teams have been informed not to trade for Jimmy Butler. Hey, listen, if anybody's going to make it messy, it'd be Jimmy.
I like, this is like the messiest person, being like, hey guys, you don't want to get involved with me.
No,
I feel like most teams are like, yeah, we understand, dude.
It'd be like if you had a guy you worked with who showed up once a month.
Yeah.
And then was a sourpuss.
Yeah.
And didn't do anything. I don't understand this clamor to like get Jimmy Butler in the house.
Part of it feels performative to me that teams can be like, oh, we tried to get Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the situation with my favorite team, the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm sure they made every effort, but it's always reeked of, this doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like Jimmy Butler is just responding to a fan-sided article he saw. He's like, guys, I don't know if there's anything real to this. But I saw it on the internet and Keith Parrish podcasted about it. So just to clear the air, do not trade me to Memphis. I will not show up and try.
Who could have seen this coming?
Tough loss for the Heat, by the way, on Monday night. Blew a 17-point lead to the Foxless Kings. That's the future of the Kings. No De'Aaron Fox, by the way. Shout out Sabonis entering the 50-minute club, the first person this season to play 50 minutes in a basketball game. First one. No one does it anymore.
Amazing.
Anyways, what are you up to? How was your New Year's? We got so much to catch up on. Jimmy Butler has just like hijacked everything with the NBA discourse. I just want to know what my friend Dave's been doing for the past week. How was your 4 p.m. dinner on New Year's Eve?
It was actually good. Good dinner. Yeah. New Year's was fine. Very, low key. It's been, everyone back east. Are you guys in the snow zone?
It is It is very not icy. It's
Uh-huh.
very icy, like 20 miles south of here and like 50 miles north of here. We're in not icy. It's very cold here, but we did not get much precipitation.
It's gonna be 70 here today, so
Yeah,
and sunny. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward. We're gonna start the new year tan. That's the way to
Impressive.
go. Yeah,
I've never been tan. Yeah. So apparently Chris Haynes did not even name the other teams.
Well, okay. So only Memphis.
It's like I don't want you and other people, but mainly I'm rejecting you. Also, other people. I'm not going to name those people. I now feel hurt.
I just don't. What's the market for Jimmy Butler? What team does he even fit on?
He fits on if he plays the way he played in what was it 6 straight games earlier this year?
Yeah,
where he's trying to show people I still got it. I mean, there's all this talk about the Suns. I mean, it seems like Bradley Beal would be fine with going to Miami, but also why would the Heat? If the Heat are getting rid of it, they want to dump all that salary.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Bradley Beal got moved to the bench.
Beal's
was amazing.
$110 million.
Yeah.
The next 2 years.
I don't know what I was trying to I feel like the Warriors make sense, but I don't understand any matching salary there.
Well, and it's another non-shooter. I just don't think the Warriors can do that. With the Suns, by the way, did you catch Beal after the game?
Yeah, it's amazing.
He holds all the cards.
He said he holds all the cards. Well, also, all right, I understand talking to NBA athletes. Maybe it's kind of hard sometimes as the reporter because they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And I've been in the situation where I'm nervous to ask a question.
Yeah.
But I don't know who it was specifically, but they were really beating around the bush. Yeah. There was no question. Something like people are assuming your move to the bench is to get you open to willing to turn down your no trade clause. That's sort of what he was getting at, but it was a bunch of you've heard, with Jimmy, there's a trade. And Bradley Beal's just staring at the guy. He's like,
that's a weird way to do it.
Now you're coming off. I mean, you didn't start. And and then finally Bradley Beal gives us the soundbite. I hold all the cards.
I mean, to me, listen, not talking to the guy, that's not great.
Oh, they didn't tell Bradley Beal?
That's what he said, right?
Yeah.
That he didn't know that this was going to happen. I don't think that's great, especially if this is, it's supposed to be a partnership, even when it's not going well.
He says no one told him.
Yeah.
What if Bradley Beal was one of those people who has 700 messages left unread?
I mean, I can relate.
Is it a voice? I mean, also he doesn't pick up his phone. I'm just guessing. I tried to call you, then I texted you, and he's like, I didn't get the message. I don't know. Maybe I'm making up stories now.
Budenholzer's texting him. Yeah. Hey, buddy, we're gonna bring you off the bench.
Budenholzer only has a landline, and he just called. He can't get through. Yeah, I don't know. No.
And it's busy. It's just one line.
It's funny. So Beal moves to the bench, and then he has an amazing game off the bench and plays more minutes than he normally does.
He was great.
Yeah, so they barely played Tyus Jones in that win. So who knows?
Saw somebody kicking around Bradley Beal to Denver, and honestly, Bradley Beal. You know what? One of the things that's been missing for Bradley Beal is all that elbow stuff that he was running. Remember, this guy was like the king of the DHO.
Yeah. I don't think all these guys, and maybe this is not a specific issue with these guys being traded right now. No NBA player can play 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
Like Terry Rozier can, but everyone's like, horrible contract. I mean, I get you. Granted, horrible contract.
Yeah, horrible.
But he plays every game. That's got to be something. But all these players, they can't play that many games in a row. And the Nuggets, you can't trade Michael Porter Jr. for a guy you can't be sure is going to play basketball.
Also, the new CBA.
I know.
We were saying that the owners were using it as an excuse, but actually, no, it's just it's difficult to operate around.
Dave, what's your breakfast? Let's get our breakfast out of the way.
I mean, listen, man,
new year, new Dave.
Same Dave.
God. Oh, all right.
Actually, I added a protein shake because, we're, it's trying to gain a couple pounds, but.
That's your resolution? Get bulk up.
No, my resolution is, so I was dealing with some injuries last year, so that was holding me back a little bit. So,
you and Bradley Beal?
Yeah, me and Bradley Beal. Not enough elbow stuff. Literally. And so I'm trying to get the one arm pull up clean,
Oh,
on both sides. And then you ever, you know who Rob Van Dam is?
is he related to
He was
Jean
a
Claude?
wrestler. No, no. I mean, kind of, a knockoff.
No, I don't know who Rob Van
There's
Dam
a
is.
there's a lift called the Van Dam lift where you do a split between
Oh,
two chairs and you do a curl. So I want to be able to do a split so I could try that.
gotcha.
Those are my goals. So yeah, sticking to the oatmeal, but adding protein because I need to gain a little bit.
Here's my resolution, Dave.
Feel very much like Chuck right now. Happy New Year, Chuck.
Wherever you are, uh, Jimmy Butler demanding his way out.
Oh man, I need a Chuck rant.
My resolution, sort of half resolution. I want to make art, not content. That's all.
Yeah.
Make art, not content.
Oh man, I slipped up the other day on the pod and I said content, and I didn't even mean it as making content.
Yeah.
I just meant like, as in like, there's a lot there, and I hated myself for like 10 minutes. I'm with you. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Man.
Am I going to make this more artsy? I don't know, but that's
better vibe. I think podcast, the way you do art is with the vibes.
Yeah. All right. That's what
I don't care about being right.
I'm going to read more this year.
Oh yeah, you should definitely read.
Anyways,
I'm reading the Jakarta Method right now.
Oh that's too upsetting.
And still trying to get through this Khrushchev book.
My breakfast, I had some leftover. We did salmon bowls last night. It's like some salmon with some edamame, with some avocado over rice. It was like this
green onion,
little green onion. Yeah, we did. It was great.
Now, do you do furikake or
I don't.
sesame?
So of course, my wife made it, and it had a wonderful flavor. But I don't know specifically what. It was a thing where there were condiments available to be added. Unnecessary. Did not need any like the sriracha stuff. It was amazing. But for the leftovers, we basically finished off all the salmon portion. I was left with just the coconut rice and edamame. I did slap some sriracha on that. Just put it down. Rice edamame. Did the job. That's all I needed.
Nice.
Anyways, those were our breakfast. After our breakfast, we moved to our breakfast in bed. Apologies. This is our chance to make right what we could have gotten wrong in a previous episode. Frequently the first time we talk about the NBA. We already had some Jimmy Butler trade talk. Here's what we got wrong, Dave. Now, this is not like a hard and fast fact that we missed, but we were trying to come up at the end of last episode with who we thought like the coolest NBA player was. And of course, the listeners had some suggestions of names we omitted. I will say 3 nominations that really spoke to me. And I'll let you know what you think about it. They said Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's fair. Do you not think he's cool?
I like Shai.
He's leading the MVP right now, and the way he does it to me, that comes across as cool. Blocking Jason Tatum's shot like that, guards
cool player.
Blocking, cool player, but is he not cool off the court? Seems cool off the court to me.
I don't know. Tries a little too hard.
Okay. All right, that's fair. I thought he was a cool player. I think he's a cool player. Here's another one. Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, I think, is cool.
Pretty cool.
I am acknowledging this is a
great.
We're
from the South too, and I think that there's like a familiarity there with that kind of cool.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think he's like us.
He strikes me as cool. He also scored he had 53 in a loss.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal.
37.
And then a bunch of points. Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards decidedly cool. And this all stemmed from the great listener question, who is the NBA equivalent of Ricky Henderson?
Yeah.
Honestly, Anthony Edwards might be pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Because you have the personality stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a big element of Ricky Henderson. Actually, and Kelly Dwyer got back to me. He thought long and hard about who he thought the NBA equivalent for Ricky Henderson was. He had trouble with a current player. He just went for Michael Jordan. He said and I'm like, Kelly, you're a basketball historian and a huge baseball guy. And he's like, you know what? I shocked myself, but it's Michael Jordan. Why not?
That's awesome.
Here's another nomination. Jared Allen. And I think Jared Allen is one of the coolest players in the NBA. Off the court, I mean, on the court, fine. I feel like, I don't want to misuse this word. This is a bad word, much like content becomes a bad word.
Yeah.
I like his aura. And I don't mean that the way people use it now.
Well, he's got a good vibe.
He's got a great vibe.
Smiles all the time.
Smiles all the time.
Very
He's
cool
funny,
player. Yeah.
very intelligent.
Does he play
reads
an instrument?
I think he reads way more than I do.
Does he play an instrument of some sort?
I don't know. I would guess yes.
He seems like a guy that plays like the bass or
well, I don't want to say I don't want to stereotype his appearance, but he does look like a bass player. He's a little bit too tall. That bass, you got to get a custom 7-foot tall bass.
Right. And it's impossible to be cool and
so like there are some guys when you're like, hey, does that guy play an instrument? And you're like, yeah, he's great at ukulele. And that's decidedly not cool. Like he's picked up a weird instrument. No. I'm guessing Jared Allen plays a primary instrument. He plays the trumpet or the piano or the guitar, and he's great at it. I'm just guessing. This is not
think it's bass or saxophone?
I don't no. I think Jared Allen is one of the coolest players in the NBA. It's a great nomination. Thank you, listener.
Until we find out
that's
what instrument he plays. But he definitely plays something.
Unless it's, I'm trying to think what would be a bad, it's some kind of specialty instrument where you're like, oh yeah, I only
an oboe.
Play. Yeah, that's not cool. I'm sorry. Oboes aren't cool. Double reeds, get out.
Didgeridoo. If he breaks out one of those, it's over.
All right. Those were our apologies, Dave. I think the biggest news in the NBA, of course, the Jimmy Butler trade fiasco, him quitting on the team, him getting suspended from the team, but also the Thunder, probably more importantly, the Thunder's regular season win streak. Incredible. And the manner that they choked out the Knicks and Celtics in consecutive games. Outrageous.
I know it was 27 points in the second half that the Celtics scored. What was it for the Knicks?
It was 50-27 in the second half. I want to say it was 40 or 41.
Yeah.
So they keep coming back from these double-digit deficits.
It's the best defense I've ever seen. It statistically looks like the best defense ever.
Right. It is
crazy.
I believe they're 10 points per 100 possessions better than league average.
Yeah.
Which is, what are the superlatives? I mean, it's just nuts. So you see them, you see them totally clamp these teams. Also with no Chet Holmgren. With no Alex Caruso.
No Alex Caruso, yeah.
Like it's amazing. Their only loss with Hartenstein. They've lost twice with Hartenstein? Once was the cup though, so no one counts it, apparently. Yeah. It's just, it's unreal how good
they haven't been healthy. They haven't been healthy for one game this season.
Well, they've been I mean, it's not all Shea, but like, I feel like a lot of it's Shea. Like, he's carrying quite the burden. I do acknowledge, like, all right, seems fair that he might have passed Jokic, even though Jokic in the past week, like 37, 15, and 12. Like his average is the Jokic Wemby showdown
back to back was insane, man. Like I know that you love stats. Yeah, I get to the point now with Wemby where it's like, oh, he had 8 blocks last night.
Right.
That in his first 102 games. Right. And then here's this list of legends. Blocks are the one stat that you can't like inflate. You can't do it like you can assists.
Yeah.
Or like the way they prop up scoring with free throws or anything. This guy has broken my brain completely. And then he's playing against Jokic, who is, I don't know. How do you even describe what Jokic does every night?
I mean, it's weird where he's being asked to do so much, and ideally, I think his numbers would be lower because he wouldn't be doing all the shooting and literally all of the passing and and
the rebounding.
Also, we joked about it in the preseason, but it's happening. He's made it work with Westbrook.
Yeah.
Everyone is like, did it work for those people? No, but maybe it'll work for us. The Arrested Development meme. And it's like, no, it worked for Jokic. Westbrook has been great. And he's somehow channeled that energy. I mean, it's not beautiful at all times. Westbrook's blowing airballing layups after perfect no-look passes. He's allowing guys to blow by him for game-winning layups sometimes, but still, like, based on this year of his career and what you could possibly hope to get from Westbrook, he's been the engine. It's like helping the bench. It's helping the Nuggets like have that energy every night. It seems like, and I know the Nuggets aren't in any great
He's
shakes, but like, what are they?
a lot of
Fifth?
nights
They're like
he's their
fifth in the
second best
West.
player.
Yeah, and it's just he's carrying them. Like there's no Aaron Gordon's missed games. I mean, like, Christian Brown's having a good year. Julian Strother's showing some signs, but like, I feel like a lot of it's Jokic is like Peyton Watson. You're going to be good tonight. Like he's like a dad lifting his kid up to like reach this high thing. That's Jokic with his teammates. It's incredible. So I don't know. Yeah. I know I just said I would probably lean now. I'll follow the crowd and be like, okay, Shea, seeing what you've done in these big games and the fact that you're on this 70 win pace and you're so good at defense while also being the best offensive player, one of the best offensive players in the league. Maybe there's no clear cut Celtic or a Cavalier. You think about for the award that helps. And while Jokic is the best player in the NBA, seeing Shea do this on this dominant regular season squad, it's something. Yeah, I don't know.
They got 10 more wins than Denver right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. I mean, and look, granted, they have a better team.
Yes,
but my bias is toward that top two. Top two seeds, best player from the top two seeds. And I think Shea's got the most compelling case. Although I have Jokic right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna think long and hard about it.
No.
The top two record thing doesn't matter that much to me necessarily. I feel like if this wasn't specifically what Shea was doing, which is just like, oh wow, you're just going for 40 and you're also one of the best perimeter defenders. That stuff's just crazy to be on the best team and doing that. I don't know. Maybe if Jokic had never won before, we would feel more like, all right, we have to recognize that yes, they're 10 games behind or 10 fewer wins, but like, still Jokic.
Donovan Mitchell is having a really, really
breaking
great season,
things.
But he's not doing the stats that those two are.
Do we care? I'm looking at my notes. I wrote down like 5 things. One of them was Jimmy Butler. There's nothing else to say, right?
With Jimmy Butler?
Just the situation. I mean, like, who's trading for him? What's he hoping for?
Do you think he's going to play again with the Heat?
I don't know.
They said they're going to bring him back if they don't move him.
I mean,
in the next, while he's suspended.
Can the Mavericks cobble together salary?
They could use him right now.
Would he want to play on the Pistons?
What does that look like when guys come back? Man,
I texted Nick, the Dallas Mavericks, Locked On Mavericks, Nick Angstad, his last name. I texted him, I was like, hey, how come Dinwiddie's not playing more? And he was like, Dinwiddie played almost 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh, dang, you're right. He's just invisible. He was out there during the Christmas game doing nothing. I'm like, he played 30 minutes? I feel like I saw him out there for like 10. Dinwiddie with like 6 points and 3 shots.
I missed this news that the Suns apparently are the only team willing to give Jimmy Butler the contract extension.
But I mean, how are the Suns? They were already cutting salary.
I don't know.
They would just have to convince. I mean, Nurkic plus Grayson is 33, plus Royce is 43, plus Okogie is 50. All right. Nurkic, Allen, Royce O'Neal, and Josh Okogie. And then you got to take back in an Alec Burks, a Josh Richardson, maybe. But they have no picks. They got nothing to lubricate it.
Nothing.
I don't know. They have like triple mortgaged all these future, like the 2026, 2030 picks. It's like they have triple swap rights, or it's like the Magic and the Wizards.
They get the worst of each.
If it's better, the worst of 3. They get the worst of 4 in one of those seasons. I don't know. I mean,
is Kevin Durant available?
That would be the one. I mean, Kevin Durant, he's older than Jimmy Butler. One of the only guys in the NBA to be older than Jimmy Butler. I mean, Devin Booker? What are we talking about here? I mean, without having picks, I don't see how any of it happens. And
is there any world where Bradley Beal exercises the no trade, and if they want to send him to Miami,
I mean, why
I don't know
wouldn't
why
Beal?
Miami would do it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for Miami. It seems like Bradley Beal would do it. I
Yeah,
mean, Jimmy Butler said he's happy off the court in Miami.
right.
So he's
Seems
got
like a good place. That's why but Miami doesn't want Beal.
got a good
So
endorsement
Beal
there.
has to be okay going to Detroit or
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, did he keep his house in DC?
But why? I mean, the Pistons, I feel like the Pistons would be better off trading for Jimmy Butler, not that they need to, than they would trading for Bradley Beal. They don't need Bradley Beal's salary for next season. I mean, the
What
Pistons,
about
by
Jimmy
the way,
Butler's salary
break up the
next?
Pistons, man.
Yeah, 500.
Cade Cunningham's amazing.
Not bad.
NBA All-Star, Cade Cunningham. Fifth,
Ma-
tied for fifth in my MVP vote.
I was gonna say maybe all NBA.
Who has the log of players who are eligible for all NBA? Because we're losing. Like Ja's out, Luka's
Luka's
out,
out.
Kyrie's now going to be out.
Jimmy Butler's out.
Jimmy Butler's out. Joel Embiid, yes, of course, out.
Embiid's out. Is Steph probably hasn't missed that many, but
But he's riding I feel like him and Lillard are gonna ride the line.
yeah.
Giannis hasn't missed very many games, but like this thing where it's like there's something like 100 players are going to qualify.
Yeah.
You know,
Who's the worst possible player that could make all NBA? Just given like the fallout, right? Who's the worst possible player? It was like Jalen Williams.
I mean, Jalen Williams is really good, but he could
Yeah.
no, that's
But
one of those
all
guys.
NBA is
So
different.
this is wrong because I've legitimately been joking about where I would place Jaren Jackson Jr. in an MVP race,
Yeah.
but like Jaren's awesome. He's the top 30 player, maybe even a top 25 player. He's clearly an all-star. He just dropped 35 points and 13 rebounds on the Mavericks, the skeleton crew of the Mavericks. I mean, it was the Grizzlies skeleton crew.
Yeah.
Jaren carried nobodies to a victory. Jaren's great. He's playing basketball games. He could end up on an all-NBA team because if you scratch off 8 of the 15 best players, well, then you start getting into Jaren Jackson Jr. territory.
Yeah.
And by the way, if he makes an all-NBA team, he's Supermax eligible. The Supermax was not made for these situations, but he won a Defensive Player of the Year award. And now if he makes all-NBA, he's Supermax eligible.
It's amazing with all the changes that they made that they didn't change that stuff.
It's weird. It's all a little bit bizarre. Dave, let's take a break and we'll come back. And I want to recognize Doug Christie and the Sacramento Kings. All right, Dave, the Sacramento Kings fired Mike Brown. They appointed Doug Christie, Kings legend, to be head coach. And now break up the Kings. They've won 5 straight. Any correlation between the coach firing and the win streak, Dave?
I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. When you hear these guys talk in the locker room after the game.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, did they quit on Mike Brown? Is that what we're feeling?
I mean, it feels like a fair question. And if we just talk about vibes, we talk about Jared Allen's, feels like he has cool vibes. I don't know. In my life, I never thought Doug Christie was cool.
No.
I thought he was the most aggressively least cool player of one of the coolest teams of all time, the early aughts Sacramento Kings. But seems like the team's playing with a different energy. He made like a stank face after Sabonis made a big 3 last night. And I'm like, okay, he's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're responding to it. But like the most direct thing as a casual watching these Kings games from afar is just like Keon Ellis has been wrecking stuff. And Keon Ellis was in and out of the lineups, getting inconsistent minutes with Mike Brown. Even though I want to say in our preseason previews, when we were picking our favorite lineups and our best lineups for the Kings, We thought Keon Ellis would be heavily involved in those. So like just involving Keon Ellis seems to fix stuff. I don't, was that a Mike Brown situation where he just wasn't playing Keon Ellis?
I mean, for sure. That was a Mike Brown. I mean, he got to make the call there.
Yeah.
Malik Monk, like last night after the game, was talking about how it was just it's different because when you have a coach that played,
Oh,
they
he's
know how
doing
to talk
that.
to players.
Oh,
And
doing
see, to
that
me,
number.
but I mean, that's the look. That is the league we're probably heading toward, by the way,
Yeah.
where it's all going to be former players coaching. It's going to be former players talking about it. It's going to, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how they would like it to be. But that was to me a shot at Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Directly.
Definitely.
Directly a shot. Right. So seemed to me like these guys kind of quit on him. And I mean, that's a shame, but that's how the NBA goes. That's what the money's for, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mike Brown got paid, by the way. He just signed a 3-year extension. So
right. No, he got
kudos to you, Mike Brown.
Kudos to Mike Brown.
By the way, and the rules work like this. That money's his. He can go be an assistant for the next 3 years. That's a different job. He's still getting paid to be a head coach. So
was it De'Aaron Fox? I feel like
Who brought that up?
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox brought up. He's like, always got guaranteed money. That's what's good about it. So like,
that's it.
You want me to feel bad for him?
If I were Mike Brown, man, I'd be going down to the local high school. I'd be the assistant there. It'd be fun, man. I definitely would not be trying to coach in the NBA again. Seems awful.
Malik Monk been on a tear. Last 3 games, he's averaged 27 points per game, 8 assists per game. Suddenly the Kings find themselves just right on the outside of the play-in. They're ahead of the Suns, but they're in 11th now with 5 straight wins. So they're 18-19, a game behind the Spurs, who let one slip away. The Timberwolves benched Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Mike Conley coming off the bench for basically the first time. I mean, every now and then it happened, but essentially since his rookie year. He's been starting since his rookie year. Much like Bradley Beal, though, Mike Conley off the bench had a pretty nice game. Maybe Timberwolves are a team that are searching.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe Dante DiVincenzo's energy can kind of juice that up. And it feels like, I don't know, the turd in the punch bowl is Julius Randle.
Well, yes. Yeah. But you can't bench Julius Randle, right?
Right.
It's funny, man. There's this whole thing where, I work with some of the best journalists that cover sports.
Yeah.
And there's this thing where you'll talk about Julius Randle. And I'm constantly reminded by people, yeah, of course, it'd be easy, but it's Julius Randle. He won't come off the bench. Right. Well, the thing is, I'm not the guy who has to manage Julius Randle. So for me to say you should bench Julius Randle is very easy because it's the right answer. And it was right the second they made this trade that set them back. DiVincenzo makes sense because you space the floor, you put the ball in Anthony Edwards' hands more. But even with DiVincenzo out there and Randle and Gobert, you still had spacing issues last night early on in the pick and roll. And Gobert and DiVincenzo couldn't space out because Randle had parked himself in the wrong corner. I mean, there's a certain amount of engagement that just doesn't exist if Julius Randle doesn't have the basketball in his hands. Like basically every single time he's on defense, right? That lack of engagement where he's not doing anything is because if you handed him a basketball, I bet he'd be better at defense. Just put the ball in his hands. It's like a security blanket or something. I don't know what it is. But yeah, they gotta figure that out. But the only way they're gonna be able to do that is to bench him.
Yeah, I don't know what Chris Finch is going to do, how he can handle.
Probably got to make a trade, actually.
Jimmy Butler?
No, I mean, there are worse ideas. I've been on this Paul George for Jimmy Butler
man,
thing.
The Jimmy Butler
somewhere.
The Jimmy Butler Timberwolves reunion feels like one of the only reunions that I could imagine. Where I'm like, you know what? Okay. I mean, Jimmy playing in that lineup, yeah, I'm on board.
Works.
Seems like could the Heat rehabilitate Julius Randle? Seems like they could. I don't know.
Honestly, maybe. If Bam could shoot, maybe.
when I think about the Heat, I'm sorry, back to Jimmy Butler. When I think about the Heat trying to move that contract, and like, there's no one on the Suns that you're going to get that you want.
Right.
There weren't any players on the Grizzlies that you were going to get that you wanted for that matching salary. But there are some like awkward guys out there,
yeah,
who we're not sure what to do with. And if like the Heat are just trying to move on, reset the deck, stay somewhat competitive. They also have this pick that maybe it would be better for them if they ended up in the lottery this year, which is not Pat Riley's way, but go ahead and keep
what is
it.
Pat Riley's way?
It's all about my way or the highway, and
Yeah.
self-aggrandization. Why wouldn't the Heat try to get one of these players from the Pelicans? The Pelicans get Zion Williamson back today. Zion feels like basically untradeable, but
what if it worked?
But like, I feel like Zion has now missed enough games where like Pelicans fans are like, you know what, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we could get something for him. But like, not even Zion, like, why wouldn't the Heat just acquire DeJounte Murray or CJ McCollum or Brandon Ingram
or any player that plays basketball? That's the thing, because that's what they're missing.
Yeah. Like Brandon Ingram alongside Bam seems like one of the few fits that theoretically in my brain makes sense for Brandon Ingram.
Well, and Tyler Hero too, by the way.
Yeah.
You know,
like I feel like you kind of got something going on there. And if you could get stuff for it, I don't know if you could, like if you're the Heat, and that also remains the huge question. If Pat Riley is the one with the final decision-making power, like we assume he is, what is he hoping to get out of this? You're not getting equal value for the player that you think Jimmy Butler is. I think you're kind of looking for, let's get off this contract and set ourselves up better going forward and hopefully receive some form of future draft capital, draft assets, or like youngest players. Is that right? Or do you think they're just kind of...
I can't imagine that they think this team is a Jimmy Butler trade away from being able to, reset the deck and compete. Right.
Yeah.
There's no way. Look at the roster. Like you mentioned, Terry Rozier is playing there,
Yeah. I mean, they're in the standings. They're just all bunched up with the Bulls and the Hawks and the Pistons, which is not where you think the Heat wanted to be.
Right.
By the way, I wish this is an across sports thing, Dave. You're going to like this. I don't know if it would work. I wish there was some form of accountability. I don't know how we would get it, where you knew if you owned a team, Dave, if you were Pat Riley, or if you're Mickey Harrison or whoever, if you're running a sports franchise, I want to know honestly how every person working for me sees the team. And that's probably hard information to glean, because like, one, if you're an employee and I'm like, hey, you're the 30th guy on the Pelicans coaching staff, the owner wants to know, how good do you think we are? You're probably going to be a little optimistic, I think,
Right.
Cause I was curious about the NFL season just ended and coaches are getting fired and GMs are getting fired. Like, it seems impossible because of the way sports reward losing by giving you top draft picks. Everyone's always a little bit optimistic. Like the Tennessee Titans get the first pick and you're like, yeah, cool. We can rebuild from there. But I want to know to a man, which people working for the Titans are like, before the season started, were like, we stink. Cause I think everyone in that organization was like, oh yeah, we can win the AFC South. We can win 10 games. We're like 11-6 or something, but they were garbage. And I think it's wild for teams to be like on the NBA, it's been different because so many players miss games. Yeah. Where like the Pelicans, you're like, all right, you've won what, 7 games now? I don't know.
Yeah.
But like theirs, you can point to, well, all these guys have been hurt, but other teams, it's like with the Titans, you suffered no catastrophic injuries to your major players. you were just garbage.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm always curious, like, if there's any way to even know, like, do the Heat people feel like, oh yeah, we knew we were going to be a 500 squad.
Well, you got to
Even,
do an internal survey, right? Like,
but even
are we
then, yeah. Like,
are
how do
we
you even
heading
do
in
it?
the right direction?
Right.
Give me a rating 1 through 5. You know, I just can't imagine that anybody in the Heat. Look, as soon as everybody that does what we do, Keith, that
Yo,
watches the NBA every day, that consumes this stuff constantly, we knew how this was going to play out as soon as the news came out that they weren't going to extend Jimmy Butler.
oh
At
yeah.
that press conference last year in May, where
Yeah.
Pat Riley says, you know, well, number one, Jimmy Butler, hey, you shouldn't say we would have won if I was healthy because hey, you weren't healthy. We don't do that. You know,
Yeah.
that's sports, buddy. And Pat Riley was right, but you don't go out in public and talk to this guy like he's a child either. So
Right.
I don't know, man. Is it wrong that I'm rooting for everybody here to lose? Like, I want Jimmy Butler to wind up on a team he doesn't want to be on, and I want the Miami Heat to, get a bunch of nothing in return. Because I don't know. I think everybody here is kind of annoying.
So I just found out. I didn't know this. This is a listener, one of our Patreon
Oh,
supporters. Major Christmas Carol. This was not the croissant question for
oh,
today, but I didn't even see this question until right now. Major Christmas Carol wants to know: would Jimmy Butler going back to the Minnesota for Julius Randle make the Wolves better? Great question. We brought it up on our own. Yeah, yes. Jimmy Butler, if of course he buys in. If the Timberwolves are not on one of those teams he's refusing to play for, yes,
yeah.
Jimmy Butler would make the Timberwolves better, I believe. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. You mentioned Pat Riley, who is perhaps one of the most egotistical sports personalities ever.
Mm-hmm. When was the
Yeah,
last time Miami won a title? Was that LeBron?
it's hard to take away their final run. Like,
Right. No,
it's
no. But it was
incredible.
12,
But still, I feel like you give that organization so much
13.
credit. I'm never going to know the years offhand.
Yeah.
I
think
know the
13.
Pistons won in 1991. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Or was it 89-90? Oh, I forgot it. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any particular dislike of Pat Riley where I'm like, I enjoy watching the Heat franchise get in this pickle
I'm just
and now
tired of
fail.
all the attention they get for a team that just isn't good enough.
All right, we can talk about somebody else. Here's my
Sorry,
thoughts.
Keith. Tired
The
of talking about these.
The Clippers got Kawhi Leonard back. Are we tired of talking about Kawhi Leonard?
No, we're not.
Okay.
And the Clippers, look, they lost the game. Man, Kawhi looks really good physically. He's just out of rhythm.
They lost the game to the new starting lineup of the Timberwolves.
Yeah, but it took Anthony Edwards went nuts. Kawhi only played 21 minutes.
Right.
And by the way, he didn't shoot the ball well, but man, once he gets into rhythm, I think the Clippers are going to be really, really good. I mean, they've already been pretty good, but he makes this stuff fit really well for them.
Yeah.
Did you catch him?
I watched some of it. I didn't see a lot. I was watching the Grizzlies backups play the Mavericks backups mainly last night.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of that game. Oh, then I was watching the King. I watched that Kings. Oh, I also watched Bulls Spurs.
Oh,
Bulls
yeah.
Spurs was unreal. Kobe White with the dunk over Wemby. They had that massive
nuts.
run to finish the game. The Bulls. I mean, that's
By the
also
way, that should be an actual physical poster. The Kobe White dunk.
Oh yeah, the
Wemby,
pictures are amazing.
They should make a poster and give it out at the next game.
They should mail it to everybody.
It was amazing.
Yeah, the
Great dunk. That game was so fun.
The Bulls are they're more fun than they should be.
They're good, and they're not.
They're solid.
Could we put Jimmy Butler on the Bulls and then all of a sudden is that a team?
What do you do with Zach LaVine? He's been incredible. Zach LaVine's on an unbelievable tear.
Yeah, keep him. He's
Yeah.
good. I don't know. I like the Bulls, man. I wish the Bulls were a team that was able to go out and make a move to get better. Instead of a team that got to send guys away.
That's been their problem forever.
Always.
They never take the break to actually reset the deck just a little bit.
Lonzo
Anyways,
might wind up somewhere fun,
yeah.
you know?
Uh, Dave, let's now answer actually a listener submitted question. Let's get to one of these listener submitted questions. We're gonna know two of them.
Are you going to finish that
Derry
croissant?
Swindo wants to know
Knock yourself out.
if you gave an award for your Tracy Jordan's hard to watch player of the week month season. This is a 30 Rock joke about Tracy Jordan doing what was that movie? Precious, based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
Yeah.
That's what they were spoofing in 30 Rock. So if there's the Tracy Jordan's hard to watch, I'm not going to do player of the week month season, but who are our hard to watch players that we're like, this is not pleasant.
You want me to start at the top?
Well, who's your number one?
Luka Doncic.
Wow. So
yeah, he's a hard watch. He does amazing things.
I don't enjoy. I also, as far as the spectrum of Luka enjoyers, I'm near the bottom. I don't. It's not that joyful of basketball to watch for me.
I hate to watch a guy just dribbling.
Yeah, I don't.
A lot of dribbling.
I also. This one's weird. This one doesn't really count because so much of his game is beautiful. That's the other with Luka too, where he makes so many beautiful plays. It's not a true hard to watch. I normally would put Kyle Kuzma on here, but Kyle Kuzma really recently, and this is going to change, but like he was doing super low usage stuff. I know the last game he scored a bunch that he played in, but like he was out there doing like 5 points, 5 assists, no turnovers. And I'm like, what? Like he was coming off the bench doing that.
But he's capable, man. Like this is where like Kuzma on a bad team is so much worse than Kuzma on a good team.
Yes, I got you. Yeah. He can have a role. It's just hard that we haven't seen it. Kuzma for Jimmy Butler? I'm trying to think of my top hard to watch. No, I was gonna say also Jalen Brunson, where it's much like Luka, where Jalen, I love that he could just be all ethical hoops because he can get to like a 17-footer anytime he wants and he'll make most of them. But he's so deep into the manipulate the rules and fouls thing that I find that hard to watch. All right. Everything the Hornets do is disgusting. I think the Hornets are a hard to watch team. I think LaMelo Ball is hard to watch. I know he's popular, but like, I don't like it. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, what is going on? Why are you doing this?
I like LaMelo because it's no stakes basketball and it's experimental, right? Like the Hornets haven't played in a game that was important or that mattered in any way whatsoever, regular season or otherwise.
Yeah.
Since he's been there. So when I watch them, it's really just let me see LaMelo do something crazy. Like, is he going to take 17 threes today? Maybe.
Yeah,
you know,
that's like average.
Yeah.
A leading hard to watch guy who is still hard to watch. Like this is a guy who I feel like at one point was fun to watch and is now not fun at all, is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is trying to do the right thing and he's playing basketball now, but there's no spark there anymore.
No.
And even games where like he has the ball in his hands and he picks up some stats, if he's like a 9 rebound, 8 assist game, it's like 4 turnovers and none of the assists are like, oh, that was a great play. It was just like, yeah, ball in his hand. He threw it to a guy. There's none of these scintillating highlight reel. He's not pushing the ball hard and on fast breaks or anything. And maybe I'm guessing a lot of that is physical limitation. He's just taking care of his body. Maybe mentally he's just out of it. But like, that's a guy where it's like, this is hard to watch for a lot of reasons because that used to be a useful, effective basketball player. And now it's just not. It's like a weird shadow of what he used to be. And he's maybe just playing out this contract. We talked a couple episodes ago. Will he be in the NBA next year? Doubt it.
Doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. So like
he was working on a 5x5 a few weeks ago and I got very excited because
there we go.
I like Ben Simmons as a player. I remember him, the way he played defense was just incredible. Yeah. I still think he's a small ball 5 for somebody. It's just he just can't touch the ball in offense. He doesn't want to shoot, doesn't look at the rim. But he's not nearly as hard of a watch for me because he just doesn't have the ball as much, you know?
Yeah.
It's the guys that like Harden was such a hard watch. I actually think Harden's come back around. Harden with the Clippers is a great watch.
Yeah.
He is so much fun. I mean, the stuff that he's doing in isolation is just this is what if he had been doing this in Houston, I think we would all like him more. But the foul baiting was so, I mean, just next level that, that's really what kills it for me. I mean, Embiid is like this. When Embiid's just out there playing basketball, man, I love to watch him. But when he's flipping and flopping all over the place, when he's blowing out Danny Green's knee, I hate it.
So Embiid's one for this season specifically because you can tell he's physically not okay. And that contributes to a hard to watch element because it's just kind of sad. You're like, this isn't the normal player. Here's another question. Philip Massey asks, which of the quote bad without honor teams, end quote, would you most enjoy coaching this season? This might lead you to the no stakes Charlotte Hornets, Dave. Would you enjoy coaching?
Probably not. No, actually, I'm going to say definitely not the Hornets. No. Who else is bad without honor?
I would say
Wizards.
I would say the Wizards, Hornets, and honestly, kind of the Raptors are bad without honor. I think the Nets are bad without honor now. Although the Raptors just got Emmanuel Quickley back.
Yeah.
And so maybe they're going to start being competitive. The Jazz are trying to be bad without honor. They're going to have to take Will Hardy out and get
that's
him
like the Nets.
Incriminating photos, trying to blackmail. I don't know, like Bryce Sensabaugh was scored 57 points the past 2 games.
Hey,
they're not even playing their guys, and they've won some games. Trailblazers.
I think I do the Wizards.
Just try some.
I think I do the Wizards.
Would you try some stuff?
Yeah, I would. Well, I mean, I'm big on Bilal. I think Bilal is going to be very good. I think Alex Sarr is interesting.
Sarr is coming around.
Yeah.
Looking kind of fun.
Yeah, they've got some guys. Also, I like Washington, D.C. It's back home-ish, and, that would work for me.
Yeah, I
am available, I think.
I would also choose the Wizards. I'm also available, although I prefer to work remotely. We could work that out.
I don't do weekends.
Also, I like the fact that they're still in the teardown. They haven't even started the rebuild. Sounds like sign me up.
Best job ever.
We haven't even headed back up towards some kind of good. I think they are. I think it's Julian Champagny. Once they got him, now we're building up. Now we're building around.
What do you think they're going to get for Valanciunas?
Jimmy Butler?
Valanciunas' name is everywhere. I mean, the Suns are talking about Valanciunas. The Lakers want Valanciunas. It's amazing. What a signing.
The Suns should get Valanciunas. Turn Josh Okogie, who I refuse to call J.O., despite the announcers calling him that.
What?
That's what they call him. Listen to a Suns broadcast.
Man, I mute every broadcast, but that one is.
But just Valanciunas for Josh Okogie or something. Yes. Get this whole we've benched Nurkic for Mason Plumlee. Why?
Can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Anyways, thanks for the questions, everybody. If you have a question you want answered on air or as part of the monthly Millennial Brunch bonus episode, sign up over at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Also, thank you to patron. Once again, second episode in a row, I'm thanking Patrick Kirkner, power patron. He finally showed me the part of the new CBA that explained to me why Dennis Schroeder could be re-aggregated in a trade. They made a specific carve out. Google doesn't work anymore. So I'd been Googling things being like, why can't a player be aggregated before it isn't? All this stuff, because it used to be once you trade for a guy, this X amount of time has to pass. I'm like, why can Schroeder be included in a Jimmy Butler trade? And finally, Patrick knew this new carve out in the CBA specifically created, and he let me know about it. So thank you, Patrick. Thanks to all the patrons. Sign up, patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. It's now time for the awards segment of the program. the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award, given each week to the worst performance in a box score. We got several honorable mentions: Malik Beasley, Corey Kispert, Jacoby Walter, 1 for 10, Norm Powell, 1 for 11, Damian Lillard, 3 for 14, Emmanuel Quickley and Cam Whitmore, 4 for 17, Trey Murphy, 5 for 19, Larry Markkinen, 6 for 22, De'Aaron Fox, 7 for 23. These were just our honorable mentions, our 3 nominees as they occurred chronologically through the week. Devin Booker, in a loss to the Grizzlies, was 4 for 20. 4 for 20, 16 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, 1 personal foul. DeAndre Hunter, in a loss to the Lakers, 1 for 12. 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 4 personal fouls. And then Devin Booker, in a win against the Sixers, he was 3 for 16, 10 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. So, Dave, we have 2 Devin Bookers and 1 DeAndre Hunter. Now,
I know you're gonna get mad at me for this.
What?
Well, because I'm about to give Devin Booker a pass.
Okay, so the outside of the box score elements, perhaps on the 3 for 16, he was just letting Bradley Beal cook, getting out of the
That's
way.
it. Yeah.
On the 4 for 20, which used to be a mandatory victory, on the 4 for 20, it was his first game after missing a bunch of games, very rusty, playing the defensively aggressive Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Anyways, I do think it comes down between the 4 for 20, 16.9 assist game of Devin Booker or the DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter's so much lower in volume, but
right,
beyond going 1 for 12, he did nothing.
Right.
Like 1 for 12, 3 points, 3 boards, and 4 personal fouls is kind of special.
What's his job? Right? He's got an easy job, man.
Yep.
You're a finisher. You get the shots up, or you dunk, or you lay it in. That's it. Devin Booker's out there creating. He's, guarding point of attack. I just feel like, Devin Booker's got a tougher job. But if I'm just looking at the box score, Hunter stands out way worse. 1 for 12 feels worse than 4 for 20.
Yeah. So 16 points, 9 assists. That's very solid. 4 for 20, of course, very eye-poppingly bad. Yeah, I'm fine with DeAndre Hunter. I think this 1 for 12 is bad enough that we can give it to DeAndre Hunter. And somehow Devin Booker, despite getting 2 nominations in 1 week, very rare. Congratulations.
DeAndre having a good year.
Everyone's like, Tyus Jones has been bad and we got to bench Nurkic. Like, how about Devin Booker play good? How about maybe your best player, a player who you hope could be better than Kevin Durant? He's shown it in his career that he's clearly like, best shooting guard in the NBA. And now it's like, dude, Anthony Edwards is doing laps around you. Donovan Mitchell's doing laps around you.
Year 11 though,
Oh, he's tired?
Maybe.
Is it really year 11 for Devin Booker?
Yeah. And also, hey, man, that guy had a busy summer.
Yeah.
This stuff happens.
I feel like, so the Suns right now, that they won rather comfortably over a Gershon Yabusele led Sixers team. But the Suns are 16 and 18. They're a half game behind the Kings. They're a full game behind the Spurs, who are currently in 10th. The Suns and their writers and their followers are kind of losing their minds about the season. The Suns have been good when their guys have played. Like, I think they've only lost 3 games, maybe 4, when Devin Booker and Kevin Durant both play. Like,
how many games is that though?
It's something like, I think they're 13-4 or 14-4, something like that. Like, that's a great record. And it's like, the Tyus Jones fit hasn't been perfect. The defense hasn't been great. Nothing's been great, but it doesn't seem catastrophic to me. It's like, all right, you're not the best team in the West, but I don't think that was on the table for you.
Yeah.
Like, you're pretty good. And I think when everyone plays, you're going to be pretty good. I don't know. I'm not deep enough into the Suns to know, like, maybe there's bigger, deeper problems. And that's why we have to play Mason Plumlee, or that's why Ryan Dunn has to start too. And it's not like, what if you just played, if your guys were healthy and they played, you might Might win more
Play
games.
your 5 best guys.
More teams should do this.
Really?
I've always
Just
said
play your
this.
5 best guys. This is the thing about Minnesota, right?
Which of these teams is going to be on the outside looking in the West? We have right now the Kings and Suns are 11th and 12th. You got the Spurs, the Timberwolves, the Warriors. The Clippers are 20 and 16. So are the Mavericks after losing 5 straight. The Lakers are 20 and 15.
By the way, the Mavericks have about a month with, theoretically, with no Luka and no Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kyrie is going to be out like a couple weeks with this back bulging disc.
Yeah.
But Jeff Stott said that usually NBA players miss up to about a month, and it's a bulging disc.
Right. That seems bad.
Yeah. And Luka's been dealing with this leg injury for a while now.
So all right, I'll include.
They're tied with the Clippers now, right? For that.
They're 20 and 16. They are 3 games ahead of the Suns, who are in 12th. So which one of those teams, which of those 2 teams missed the play-in? Mavericks, Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, Spurs, Kings, Suns. I'll say currently trending, not ignoring maybe the Mavs injuries, currently trending past 20 games. It's the Warriors.
Yeah.
Warriors are a mess.
DeAnthony Melton was too important.
He was too important. Who knew? He was
way too important. I think, look, I actually think the Kings don't have the juice to make it. Is it weird that I trust the Spurs, or is it maybe I just trust Wemby?
The Spurs have been consistently competitive all season. They have had they've had no big swoons. I feel like losing to the Bulls yesterday was a bad loss. Like that's a tough one to give away. I was so dubious about this team when the season started, but they've been just steadily 500. I do feel like I think the Suns are better than the Spurs, so I feel like the Suns are going to catch the Spurs eventually. So I would probably, the Spurs are not going to make it, but the Warriors have been so terrible. I do have trust in the Clippers and Timberwolves. The injury set for the Mavericks makes them way more susceptible to sliding down, because I don't think any of these teams are going to bottom out. So I think we are going to have a full, there's 12 teams in the West vying for 10 spots. Of course, the Thunder could rest everybody and still make the playoffs easily. I don't think the Rockets and Grizzlies are going to slide. So I think it's basically, maybe the Lakers, they've been outperforming their point differential. They've got only a 3-game cushion. They're in 5th right now. They only have a 3-game cushion on the Kings. So I don't know. It's going to be a good race.
It is. It's already, except for Oklahoma City running away with first. Yeah. It's 6 games separate number 2 Houston, 6.5, number 2 Houston, and number 12 Phoenix. And 6.5 games.
And meanwhile, in the East, right now, the Sixers, you assume are going to overtake the Bulls, the Heat, Hawks, or Pistons. I guess I can include the Pacers in there because they've been so underwhelming all year. But beyond that, Nets, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards are done. There's thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Work on whatever you want to, weird offenses or something. But one of those teams, which of your East teams is going to lose out between Sixers, Bulls, Heats, Hawks, Pistons, Pacers?
If the Heat are actually moving Jimmy Butler, unless they're getting somebody at the level of Kyle Kuzma, I just think the Heat.
What if Kyle Kuzma got incredible in the Heat system?
It's not even that. It's honestly, if you just add a guy who can give you 33 decent minutes and can get up shots and rebound, I think that the Heat have enough pieces and they have a good enough coach. Problem is they have a hard time, filling that role,
Yeah.
I think the Heat probably drop out. I don't know. Maybe the Bulls, because they're going to tear it down theoretically, but they've yet to ever do it. So I just don't. They're the boy that cried tank at this point.
I don't think. The Bulls. Wait, the Bulls only keep their pick if it's in the top 10?
Top 6.
Oh, they're a top 6 one?
I think.
I guess I could check. I'm going to check that so I don't have to fact check it in a future episode. Top 10. So
Top 10, okay.
So Bulls are top 10. You're thinking of the Sixers.
I was thinking the Sixers.
The Sixers are top 6, amazingly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and the Heat's pick is lottery protected. So the Heat ending up in the lottery, maybe not a terrible thing long term for the team. And with that, Dave, I think we did it.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to pick our all-stars sometime in the next 2-3 months. Maybe after the all-star game. We'll name who should make the all-star. Jimmy Butler has not been traded yet. And as far as I can tell, he hasn't named any other teams yet that he's refusing to go to.
No more Haynes briefs.
No Haynes briefs on this guy. Anyways, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks, Dave, for hanging out. Listeners, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fastbreak Break, man. You understand?